All right, and there is our man Clinton. This stat you gave me before the show, I cannot even believe this. So Tom Vialle wins. He's the 9th Frenchman to win a Supercross race. But the funny thing is, every French rider who's ever won a Supercross also won at least a Pro Motocross here in America, or vice versa. Anyone who won a Pro Motocross also won a Supercross. It's interesting to me, first, that they're that well-rounded. But second, I think the stereotype is that a lot of the Frenchmen are really good Supercross riders. Some of them are good outdoors. Vialle's kind of the opposite. He's known more for his motocross prowess. And as we dive deeper into this, I guess that's what we're going to find out. Is he a motocross guy who won the most motocross-like Supercross? Or is this for real? What did you see of the data?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it seems like he's really good at Supercross, even though he does seem to be known for his pro motocross skills. He set the 5 fastest laps in that main event on Saturday night. Just absolutely dominating, on par to Ken Roxon's win this year in Glendale. He was the only guy in the 250 class to set times in the 132s, and he was a half a second faster than the next fastest guy, Seth Hammaker. So just an impressive outing. JT, the question I have is there an asterisk because of the track conditions that night?
I think there has to be, and that shouldn't be viewed as a negative. It's just not the standard Monster Energy Supercross race that we're used to. And if he comes out and wins in Birmingham, then yes, I will look silly and I'll have to take it all back. But I think Arlington being in podium contention is realistic. Daytona, with the weather and the track and the way that race is anyway, I just think it's a different event, and we shouldn't try to compare him rocketing to be the best Supercross rider quite yet. But having said all that, he's got himself in this championship fight, and that is a big thing.
Okay, so that's Vialle. Let's talk a little more about this whole French thing. My mind is still blown that they're this well-rounded, that they win both indoors and out. So give us some of the names in history here who Vialle has now joined.
Yeah, I mean, this list of 9's pretty impressive, guys. Jean-Michel Bayle starts that out in 1989. He has 25 wins between both classes in Pro Motocross and Supercross. You got Marvin Musquin, arguably the most decorated, maybe not in titles, but the most decorated with 38 wins. But Vialle, obviously, that Southwick win, pretty impressive last year. 1-3 moto scores for the overall. The Daytona win. The thing that I actually think is kind of interesting is the regional Daytona Supercross winners. We've got Mikel Pichon back in 1996. You got Christophe Purcell in 2009 and 10. Marvin Musquin, 13 and 15, and now Tom Vialle. So, JT, you got to ask the question, is Tom Vialle really a title contender this year?
I think he is, because of how much parity. No one has really stepped up and just kind of run away with this thing. So the longer that goes on, if you can stay consistent and stay on the podium, why would he not be, right? Because I think we've all looked at, is Hayden Deegan going to kind of take over? We lost Austin Faulkner, who seemed like he was on a path to do that. So until someone steps up and takes the reins of this thing, I don't have any reason to say he's not.
Yeah, it's a little different to me. And when I look at some of those French names of the past, they were just absolutely dominant, and they happened to race Daytona that year, and they happened to win that, and then went everywhere else. That's what I think of when I think of, say, Pichon or Purcell, who won back-to-back titles, and even how good Dylan Ferrandis was. So we'll see if Vialle can be that good, or maybe you're right, JT. Maybe you don't have to be dominant. Maybe you just have to be really good every week to win this title. I guess that's what makes it interesting, right, Clinton? Really, how much data do we really have on 250 East, even with 3 rounds in the book so far? Every race is kind of a weird scenario, especially with that Detroit crash.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been 3 kind of oddball races so far. I do think it's kind of interesting. There's 5 French riders that have won a regional Supercross. 3 of them have won Daytona and gone on to win. So Pichon in 96, Purcell both in 2009 and 10, and Musquin in 2015. And so I think it'd be interesting if Tom Vialle can get his first Supercross win in Daytona and then go on to get that title. But I guess that's to be seen now, right?
Oh, that is interesting. So a lot of these Frenchmen turning Daytona wins into eventual titles. We'll see if Vialle can do that. And we'll unpack more great stats with you next week. Thanks. Okay, so we'll see how Birmingham turns out. If you folks want to watch it, well, just come and watch it in person. Or check out the coverage on Peacock and the SMX Video Pass that's outside the United States. It'll be 1:30 Eastern Time Saturday, Race Day Live, and 7 o'clock Eastern Time Saturday. We will go racing.